it was historic, I suppose, and it was a great opportunity to do something that I mean, there are very few things that you can do as a pop band that haven't been done before now. You know, what can you do other than sell more records than anyone else or whatever? You know, it's all kind of statistic, and it's very most people are very disillusioned. But the idea of playing to those people, being the first people to play real kind of Western pop music to those people, it was a great privilege. It was just that it was a pretty horrific couple of weeks because the place is so oppressive, you know, the actual atmosphere. Also, there was a very great sense of deception, I felt, because we arrived believing that they were genuinely prepared to accept a little Western influence as part of their new policy, you know. But basically, what it was, I think, was a gesture of, it was a kind of an empty gesture of saying, look, here we are, we're going to accept you, and we have all this industry that we want you to accept. When actually what happened was that we played two concerts. That's all we did. One in Beijing, or Peking, which is obviously the most Chinese part of China you could.
Where'd you play it? In the square?
No, we played at what was it called? I'm not sure, but it was
Outdoor.
an auditorium. It was an indoor auditorium, about 14,000 people, and we played there, and we played in Canton, which is about 100 miles from the Hong Kong border, therefore very much more westernised. But Beijing was the real test. And what happened basically was that we opened with a black DJ who had done we always used to work with DJs on tour as opposed to a support act, which we'd always found worked really well. And this guy did just about everything that a DJ could do. He did break dancing, he spun the records and scratching and everything. And they were absolutely crazy. They were absolutely mad for it. People were jumping up and down. They were out of their seats. He ran around the auditorium dancing and stuff to our music. And they were like on cloud nine. The entire place was out and out of their seats, reacting in a totally Western manner. That people were kissing him and trying to dance like him. It was absolutely brilliant. We've got it all on film. And what happened was that people came into the dressing room and said, Trevor, the DJ, is going down brilliantly. We're going to have no trouble whatsoever. And there was about a 15-minute break before we came on. And what happened was that in that 15-minute break, there was an announcement, obviously in Chinese, so we didn't understand it at the time. There was an announcement made to the audience that there was to be no dancing for the rest of the evening. There were people to remain in their seats. In other words, they'd been frightened by the reaction they saw just to the opening act. So we went out and played to nothing. You know, we went out and played to 13,000 people sitting down, which was really horrendous because we had no idea of this announcement, and all we knew was that we had, as far as we were concerned, we were not communicating. And there was one funny thing actually, is that when you actually tried to get the audience to clap, they have no perception of clapping in rhythm. So you clap and they would just applaud you. And everyone was smiling, but basically we just felt we really felt the first feeling was of failure, you know, that it was there was no way we could communicate. And then there was when we actually found out what had gone on, I was just furious. You know, I'd gone through. We'd already been in Peking for about 5 days. I'd gone through endless meetings, protocol meetings with you know, cabinet ministers and various things that really are not in. You know, I'm a musician. I've no real desire to sit and I mean, obviously I felt responsibility at the time, but to represent in my generation from the West in a good light, and pop music in a good light. I felt that, you know, we had a responsibility to keep the doors open, as it were, for other acts. I genuinely thought that was what we were there to do. And after that, realising that they had no real intention of allowing people to absorb what we were doing. I just felt really betrayed, and also there were announcements on the radio, things like that, to go that those people who went to see the Graham concerts would go and enjoy it, but not. They literally told them not to learn from it. I mean, basically they said they were basically saying this is an isolated incident, and you're not going to see it again. So don't get any ideas. You know, that's basically what they were saying. And from that point on, the trip for me was a bit of a nightmare, because I felt really kind of like we were there and we were being used in an industrial sense. We were being used as a gesture that was not a genuine gesture, and I found it kind of nasty after that. But I mean, I wouldn't have missed it for anything.
Sure.
You know, I mean, I wouldn't have missed the fact. I mean, when we talked to some of these Chinese people afterwards, and they were so excited, you know, some of them were. It was just strange to see people that had not experienced anything like it. You know, even though it was a very, you know, it was a very ordinary by Western standards. There was nothing special about it. There was no special effects. It relied totally on the performance of the band and everything. It was just something that they were totally stunned by, you know.
Well, while there's no mountains to climb in rock and roll, or new areas to discover, as you say, there's very few places. What is there that exists that you'd like to do? What is it?
What would I like to do? I mean, I have no. In terms of achievement, I have no mountains to climb or anything. I simply want to become. I suppose I simply want to become. I want to be very happy with what I've done. When my career is coming to a close. I mean, I don't think it will come to a close for a long time. I think I have always been able to see my own future as in the next couple of years. I knew I'd be here right now, and I knew 2 years ago. I mean, I knew that 2 years ago, and 2 years before that, when we were just starting out, I knew we weren't going to be just another English pop band, and I knew that the basis of it was the songs I was writing. I suppose what I really want is to be able to do what I want creatively, succeed publicly, and be able to progress without screwing the rest of my life up. That's the way I see it, really, because I can't really relate to the pressures. I mean, I know the pressure that's going to come with the type of music that I'm going to release, because I don't think my music has reached anything like its peak. I think I'm a lot younger than most people that have found themselves in my position. Therefore, potentially, my career will be longer. And if you look at it this way, in 10 years' time, I'm only going to be 33 years old. 33 years old. There are few people that in the rock business at 33 years old that are considered washed out, you know, in terms of age.
Yeah.
It's just that the fact that I am seen not just as an artist, and the fact that I'm seen in a sexual way. I mean, that I have that kind of springboard means that with the kind of music that I think I still have left in me, in 10 years' time, I think I could be a very, very big star, as opposed to just a star. And although there is that half of me that wants it, there's another half of me that's very frightened of it as well, because I don't think it has a good effect on people's lives, and that's what I find. I suppose my main ambition is to balance the two things, you know, because I don't want to be dragged into the kind of downsides of this business that are so easy to fall into. You know, that's the main thing that frightens me about living over here as well. I mean, I'm very excited about the future, but at the same time, it worries me.